So we're very excited. We have a great guest this morning. Thanks to Robbio here. Do you guys call him Robbio, or do you just call him Rob?
No, they do not. Call me
okay,
Robbio.
so we call him Robbio in here. So, all right, Dominic Cole. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. So now Rob kind of told us about you. You're doing all kinds of stuff. You've been drumming for how long?
I've been drumming for around 8 years now.
No kidding. How old are you now?
I'm 15.
Okay, so you are been doing this since you're really a little kid, right?
I've been going to Ted Herbert's since I was 7. So,
okay, so you've known this guy for a while.
Yeah, a very long time.
All right, not a bad guy to know.
No.
Really.
I told him he had to be on his best behavior today during this segment, just so you know.
I am. One of my favorite guys here in Manchester. Does a lot of great things.
Yes.
But you're doing great things, too.
Yeah,
I mean, you're getting recognized for some of the great things you're doing. And what's amazing is you're so young, and I think it is great. Now, tell us about, it's Percussion For A Purpose. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that and how it got started.
So, when I was around 9 years old, I used to play in Boston Common a lot. I used to busk down there. And I was playing in the Boston Common, and a homeless person came up to me one day, and he asked me to play a song for him because I was on my break. And he was obviously, he told me that he was a musician once before, and he couldn't afford to pay for, like, a guitar and all that stuff. But he was like, "Can you play for me?" So I played for him. I played a song for him. And after I finished that song, he gave me his last quarter. And I was like, "This isn't for what, I was not doing it for the tips. I just,
Right.
But he was like, he insisted, and he was like, that made me really happy. And he hasn't had anybody really talk to him in a while, you know? And so I
feel good, though.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, wow.
And at the time, I really didn't really know what homelessness was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what is that? And, my parents told me, like, that's,
And that's hard hitting to tell. That's hard hitting to tell a kid, too.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
People are out there on the streets.
Yeah. And so I decided to give back all the proceeds from me busking and all that stuff back to the homeless shelters around, like, New Hampshire and Boston. And so I've donated to the Manchester Food Pantry. I've donated to the Concord Coalition, the bunch of Boston homeless shelters.
That's great.
I had a mission down there in Boston Common for around, I think it was 3 years, I think it was. And we used to set up tables in Boston Common, and we used to, we served like thousands of homeless people. Just, we had like a food line. We had Panera, like we used to go into Panera, and we used to get their like end of day bread that they used to give away.
Yeah.
And we used to bring it down there, and we set up this food pantry, and we give it back. And
that is really something. I think you've done more in your 15 years that I've done in, the past 52 years.
Yeah.
It really is something. So, and you do this all through music. Now, when you say you're out there busking, for those people out there that don't know what busking is, what is it?
So I go down to Boston, and I'll set up like a radio, or I set up my drum kit, and I'll make like have a playlist of songs that I'll play usually, or sometimes I'll just jam to like a backing track or just play, and people will come up, and I'll have like a tip bucket out, and people will give back. So like kind of like what you see when you go into say like if you've ever been to Faneuil Hall, and you see like bucket drummers and stuff like that kind of thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Why the drums?
Well, when I was 7, I first started playing. That's when
That's every parent's nightmare. I mean, at first, sometimes practicing and all that, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Almost as bad as the saxophone.
Well, my parents were really, really, really encouraging for me to doing it, which is I'm really happy about. But I started when I was 7, and I started going to Ted Herbert's when I was 7. And
so you've been in the city for most of your life, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So I started going there, and I started performing, and then one day actually across the street, it was my first performance ever. I did a taco tour of, was it 2007?
Oh, a long time ago.
That
was your first public performance?
Yeah.
I didn't.
But was the big one? Was it did they close down? Were they closing down the street at that point?
They weren't closing down the street. It was one of those we set up a performance area in front of the blighted store, which was kind of melancholy in some ways. And I remember you playing that. I think we have a video on our Facebook page from that. But it was it 2007? I don't remember when it was. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long. Yeah, but I played there that time, and I was really nervous. But then when I did it, it was like that feeling. It was a weird feeling, but I wanted to do it again.
Right.
And so
because you get something out of performing.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost, they even say that you can have a stage fright, but once the light goes on, and once you start, you're on,
Mm-hmm.
and it does something to you. That is great. Where can people, if people want to check you out, can they go down to Boston? Or do you go to a certain spot?
I haven't gone in a little bit now because I have like a band I'm playing in and all that stuff and all my professional stuff that I'm doing in school.
So I'm going to interrupt you for a second. So talk about this. So he's 15. Talk
Right.
about your professional stuff.
Yeah.
How many 15-year-olds can say, "Yeah, these professional gigs that I'm doing"? Talk about the bands that you're in and some of the things that you're doing.
So I play in a band called the Bob Pratt Band. They're a cover band. They go around all New Hampshire, and he's from Manchester actually, and most of the band's actually from Manchester. But we play up in Laconia a lot for like the Bike Week events and like the High Octane Saloon, like places like that. Tower Hill and like that whole Wares Beach Strip area, and we play cover songs from like top 50s band from like 1950s to now. But I also play another band called Frankie Boy and the Blues Express.
Love Frankie Boy and the Blues Express. Let me
Nice.
just say that's one of my favorite.
Nice.
groups.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, but they play a lot. They're actually mostly original music, and they play in
You're a busy
around-
guy.
Yeah.
they play around like Laconia area and all that, and they do a lot of cool stuff. They did the Boogie and Blues event, and that was really cool. I got to sit in on that one. Their main drummer's Harrison Fody, but I'm like also the other drummer too.
That's great.
So yeah.
How
And
do you manage to do all that and all you do the fundraising, the bands, and still focus on schoolwork?
I don't know. Mostly all the gigs I have are on the weekend, so most of those, or like days that I have off in school that I take off, and they'll give me like a show to play, and they most of the time they already know that, or they just give a sub drummer. But most of the time I make most of the events, and all the times that I get all the money to donate back, I go down to Salem, Mass, and during the October, so coming up the next few weeks, the October Haunting Happenings events,
Okay.
and they have those down there, and it's huge, like 100,000 people come down to the area, and I set up in Salem, and I play almost every weekend, I think, of October down there, and that's how I mainly get most of my donations, because it's a huge event, and
Can people donate all year round, or do they have to go to one of your events?
you can donate all year round. So on my Facebook page, Percussion for a Purpose, you can go to that, and there should be a GoFundMe link that you can donate to my charity.
That's great.
On that.
I have a call here this morning. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, I had to say, so fast. I've never heard someone at 15 years old be so focused, mature, and everything else. This young gentleman you have as a guest is going somewhere.
All right. Thank you, Ron. That's
thank you so
a
much.
very nice compliment.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right.
I have to jump in. So Bob Pratt did sound for the very first 2 or 3 Majestic Theater shows back in the early 90s.
Oh, wow, yeah,
So
yeah.
mention that to him next time you're playing with him. But
I will.
very talented family, the Partridge family of Manchester in some ways. All the kids played instruments.
Yeah.
And his dad was an Elvis impersonator.
Really?
His
Yeah.
dad, Roger, when he was alive. So very, very deeply rooted family. I didn't realize you played with them. That's really cool.
Yeah, I remember he used to talk about how he used to work for Ted.
Yep.
Back in, I don't know, I think
Back
it
in
was
the
80s.
dark ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
I got to say, thank you for coming in. Now, say it again where people can find you on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media stuff.
You can find me on Instagram. I have Percussion for a Purpose on
Okay.
Instagram, and Dominic Cole Drums on Instagram. And also I have Facebook, Dominic Cole Drums, Facebook Percussion For A Purpose, and I don't really use other platforms as much, but I have Twitter, and I have,
Sure.
YouTube and all that stuff. But
Well, you were doing great things, sir. Very impressive.
you so
Dominic
much.
Cole. Thank you, Rob, for
And very proud of you from Ted Herberts. We're going to Ted Herberts is going to donate $200 towards your cause, and I'll talk to your parents about how we can make that happen. It's great to see young people doing such great things in the community, and we're very proud of what you're doing. So
You've
thank
never
you for
given me
so
anything
much.
for my cause.
you don't have a cause.
Yeah.
You're a lost cause.
Yeah, I do. I want to say that too. That's awesome. And
It really
hopefully
is.
You can inspire some more kids, your age, to get out there and do something positive.
well, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think
That's
you're
awesome.
very well-spoken young man, and come in anytime. You are a friend of the show here. I think
Oh,
it's
wow.
great.
Thank you so much.
Maybe you can even, we can do a little.
Replace me?
Yeah, you're not going to be here next week, right?
No, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, I think we already have. We already asked.
Kirk.
Yeah, think so. But all right. Well, Dominic Cole, thank you for stopping by. I think this is great. Are you good? Are you?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have school today?
No, actually, I have the day off.
All right.
wow.
Well,
Yeah.
enjoy your day off.
I will. Thank you
enjoy
so
your
much.
day off. Thank you very, very much. And we will be back in just a few minutes. All right. Wow, that was great. Dominic Cole, Percussion For A Purpose. I thought that was very inspiring.
Yeah, that was really cool.
You know what it really shows? It shows that Rob's actually doing stuff over there at the Majestic Theater. I'm just saying.
He's actually doing something.
That is
Right.
great. That is that is great. So I recommend it to anyone that wants to, get over to the Ted Herbert's Music School,
Yeah, it's
especially if you're inspired by this young man.
great. Right? Maybe, hey, hopefully it inspires another kid to pick up drumsticks
No kidding.
or a guitar. That kid, he's awesome, though.
You're right. Robbio is back.
I'm
Thank
back.
you. Yeah, you're a miracle. I mean, that's great. This is a product of the Ted Herbert's Music School.
Well, the thing is it's good to see kids doing something.
You are a mentor.
And I have to shout out to his teacher, Jeff Cimitaro, too. Jeff. Jeff's come into the studio before.
Yeah.
Talk about Ted Herberts. He's been his teacher since the very beginning as well. So, but it's funny when he talked about the taco tour, because I remember that taco tour. I remember this little kid, and he's out there wailing the drums, and everybody was stopping, so amazed at the talent of this kid.
Right.
And he could just be another talented musician. There's plenty of talented kid musicians out there, but he chose to use kindness in his platform to do good things in the community.
Really great
And
stuff.
that's really what we're lacking, overall in our communities.
Right.
So,
Well, wow. Very, very nice young man. So love to
Yeah.
have him play sometime.
Yeah, hey, you look at how busy he's staying, all that. I couldn't juggle all that. I mean,
Right.
But he's got a good
I can
mentor,
barely do this.
Robbio.
I can barely do this
Yeah.
and make it to an event.
I know.
JFed, I looked so anxious at the beginning of that thing. I was anxious. I was nervous for him.
That's
You
great.
want people to do well. And
He
to
did
be-
great.
Yeah,
Really
he
is
was great.
really
Very
good
well
stuff.
spoken.
Yes.
Very well spoken.
Very well spoken. Good job, Robbio.
Well, and your questions were okay.
They were not okay?
No, they were good. They were good.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
You really like to give me the business, don't
Well,
you?
I shouldn't. I should be.
I know.
I should be nice.
I showcase you on this show.
You